weave a little. Now move. That's it. Now give me a big bear growl. Scare me. Oh, boy.
Hello, Internet Dwellers, and welcome back to Disney Top Shelf. Uh-oh.
What happened? What happened? I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything.
Oh, no. My head just stopped working. Disney Top Shelf. Oh,
Disney
fantastic.
animation. We were doing so well. You almost powered right through. You hiccuped yourself.
I hiccuped myself.
Said nothing this time.
You know what it was? Is because I opened my eyes and you were not sitting across from me, TC. And I was so sad.
We are back across the country from each other.
Indeed we are. Indeed we are. And no delay tonight, which is fantastic.
Yes. But we are back, everyone. I am TC.
Yes, and I am Jeff with Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios Library Podcast. There we go. I had to get through it correctly at least once. So yes.
It'll be a tough edit. See, we were discussing it. We record everything to vinyl.
Yes.
And then I mail it to Jeff, and then he has to transfer it to digital and then release it.
It seems like you could just burn a CD. I mean, really.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why you don't. But
I don't know. It's all vinyl all the time. See, I'm in the same school as Michael Bay, who still films on film, right? He still films on actual physical 35 millimeter film,
right?
Which must drive his editors and post team just the craziest they can be.
As a post person, that would drive me bonkers. Being like, wait, I'm sorry, we have to do what? How many extra steps to get the film?
Yeah. No, I'm a purist, Jeff.
See, I thought you were going to say, well, because burning CDs is illegal, but no one ever says anything about burning vinyl records.
Yeah, no, you can burn vinyl. Well, they'll melt.
Well, yeah, but, you don't want to have too hot of heat. You want to keep the heat fairly low.
You know, come to think of it, I don't think I've owned maybe 2 records in my entire. Now you have a record collection.
I do have a record collection. Yes.
I owned the Muppets Christmas album with John Denver.
Yes,
and it was the Disney Main Street Electric Parade.
Ooh.
Album.
So you're real hard-hitting rock and roll albums.
Yeah, the only the finest.
Only the finest collection. You are an audiophile.
I just never collected albums. I collected CDs. Oh my gosh, did I collect CDs?
Yeah.
I look back at the amount of comic books, CDs, and DVDs that I collected over time, and how everything is digital now. Now, granted, I still buy physical copies of books that I actually truly like, but the amount of money I spent on DVDs and CDs is insanity. And the ice cream truck's going by, Jeff.
Is that what it is? Ice cream. I want ice cream.
Can I go
get some ice cream? I want a fudge popsicle, and I want. You mic'd yourself running all the way out there?
I did. Yeah.
That's dedication, folks. That's dedication.
Okay, I'm back. So what are we watching today?
All right, so now that TC's back with our fudgicles, which I'm not sure how he's going to get me, do not eat them, please. Send it my way in a box, and I'll get the popsicle stick in about a week and a half. This week, we watched the 1967 animated version of The Jungle Book.
Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, the new one's animated too. You can talk about it looking live action all you want, but that's the kid and a few props are live action.
That is true. The brand new live action 95% CG film that's a version of The Jungle Book.
Did you ever see the 90s live action one?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Stephen Sommers, right? I think is who directed that one.
I'm always surprised that. That's one of those like really obscure films that people forget exist.
Yeah, I remember watching it because I remember going to the theater and seeing that one. Yeah. And it just being, because it was in one of the old theaters in my hometown that's no longer there. But I remember going and seeing it and being like, oh, this could be kind of cool, but just hating that movie to death.
Yeah, I don't remember it being very good.
No.
But then again, I haven't seen it since I was younger. And then there's live action one that just came out last year, and there's another live action one that's been postponed. It's Andy Serkis's directorial debut. Mm-hmm. I don't think they anticipated just how successful the CG one that just came out was going to be,
right?
Because it was supposed to come out much sooner, but they pushed it back, so as not to have to compete with that the most recent one.
The last thing we need is more Jungle Book movies in this world. I'm sorry. I don't know. Is that tipping my hand a little bit to the future of this episode?
We'll see. So we watched the 1967 animated hand drawn. This is the final film that was overwatched by Walt Disney himself. Now, granted, the Winnie the Pooh movie that we will see in 2 or 3 later,
right?
That was a collection of shorts that Walt was still involved in that were released over time that they collected into feature films, and we'll discuss that when we get there. But this is the final film of Walt Disney's career, animated film, I should say.
Because he died before this was released.
Yes.
By almost a year. I think it's like 10, 11 months or so before or after he died. So it's weird, and I'm what I am now looking forward to, and I know I brought this up before, is I'm looking forward to seeing how quickly these movies change. Now that Walt doesn't have his fingers in them, like, just out of curiosity, what happens? Where does this go from here? You know?
This is the end of an era, because one of the Sherman brothers passed away as well, and this was the last movie that the Sherman brothers were responsible for many of the classic golden era Disney songs. If you've ever seen Saving Mr. Banks, which is, I 100% highly recommend that film.
Oh, it's a great film.
An amazing biography picture about the making of Mary Poppins.
I mean, it has nothing to do with the fact that Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney, does it, PC?
Or Emma Thompson, or Paul Giamatti, or even Colin Farrell pulling a performance that should have got him nominated.
Yes. That whole movie is just well done. I enjoyed that movie. Anyways, continue, please.
The Sherman brothers wrote all the music for Mary Poppins and Bedknobs and Broomsticks and Disney songs throughout the decades or so within this era, but one of them passed away, leading to the end of their era as well as Walt's era. And this is we are. I suppose you could say that this is the official end of the golden era, and we're going to end a weird. We're going to, I feel, slowly enter the dark ages in terms of the Disney animated movies, because there are some that I'm genuinely looking forward to, such as Robin Hood. But we are entering a dark time.
I'm looking forward to like Fox and the Hound, Rescuers, Black Cauldron, like that. Like, I'm looking forward to
real dark stuff.
Yeah, like the late 70s, early 80s, where it's just, we don't know what we're doing. And this is stuff that we can talk about later, but I do know that it's still a lot of the same people working on the films. Like, what is it? Looking at his name, it's the guy who directed these, the Wolfgang Reitherman,
right? Yes.
Who is the guy who's been directing like 101 Dalmatians and Sword in the Stone, and obviously the Jungle Book, and he does Aristocrats and Robin Hood and Winnie the Pooh and Rescuers. Like, he stays on for a little while,
right? And
it wasn't until it looks like the 80s that then they switch over to like kind of a new batch of directors, and then they changed with each one after that. But
yeah, it really is affected by who is the overseeing eye of this whole thing. My devices are blowing up.
Oh my goodness, I hear them all going off.
Because not having Walt there is going to make a difference. Not having the change of the guard just is going to affect what we watch. But for now, we are watching The Jungle Book, which was heavily affected by the mediocrity of Sword in the Stone. Sword in the Stone did not do well enough, and Disney himself threw out the original intention of Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, which was going to be more in the realm of the darker stuff, such as Sword in the Stone or Sleeping Beauty. And he said, throw it out. We need to go brighter and happier and get back to a more uplifting style than they did with Sword in the Stone.
Well, I remember reading that like Walt actually gave I don't know if it was the writer or the director who gave one of them. It might have been the writers. He gave him a copy of the book, of the original book, and said, "This is so you don't read it." Like he's like, here's a copy of the book. Do not read it.
Don't
write me a movie. Like,
okay.
So it's definitely and again, any of my opinions, and this I feel like this goes without saying, because obviously a lot of these films are based upon books, my opinion definitely is about the movie itself and this version of the story Just kind of forewarning people later on. So
the art of adaptation is proven time and again to be a difficult one,
right.
And oftentimes a lot of the criticism that people throw towards films are the purists who don't like the adaptation,
right?
Who say this is so far from the source material. My goodness, who are so far from the source material that they feel it's a poor adaptation.
Right.
I have not read the Jungle Book, so I have no point of reference. My point of reference is this film.
Right. And this is the version, and I feel like this is the version of the Jungle Book that a lot of people know as well. Like, if they know the story, it's probably from it's this movie. It's this version of that story.
And so they open up with the opening of the book and
live action book opening again, which kind of threw me for a loop.
But it did something slightly different than we've seen in the past book openings. It went past the chapters list.
Yes.
It thumbed past it because this movie really is chaptered.
Right.
And it has one beat after the other broken up in what you could almost skip on the DVD to just view a chapter of this film.
Right. And it's funny because just the way that the movie opens, I like the live action book kind of threw me for a loop because I was so used to that just being for the fairy tale princesses movies, and now I was like, oh no, wait, okay,
we had it for Sword in the Stone as well.
That is true, but then it was so weird. Like, what caught me off guard was those opening credits. The opening part didn't feel like a movie to me.
Okay.
It felt more like a television show opening.
Oh, all right. I suppose I could see that it did have a very 60s television vibe in its font choice.
Yes. It's the bright yellow font that everybody used on television in the 60s. When we developed color televisions, everyone went yellow for their fonts.
It did credit the actors with the characters, which I don't believe we've ever seen before, have we?
No. It's before now, it's usually just the talents of or the voice talents of.
Not credited to
a particular
specific actors.
Which was really kind of cool. And I will admit, it was an interesting shift. And again, we're in the late 60s now, so we're starting to hit that era where more credits are starting to kind of seep into the films, and you get a little bit more.
Yeah, it's from unions forming.
Right.
As more unions in cinema and television and just unions in entertainment in general developed, part of those unions stipulations in film was we got to be credited. You have to credit the Producers Guild and the Writers Guild and the Actors Union and SAG and AFTRA and it just built. But that's why credits had to be moved to the end of films because they just kept getting so damn long.
Could you imagine like Fellowship of the Ring or Return of the King's credits at the start of the film, and it's just 22 minutes of credits.
Oh, God. And that's how the Man on the Moon begins.
Oh.
Have you ever seen the Andy Kaufman, Jim Carrey biopic?
Yes.
It starts with him coming out and saying, I don't want you to watch my movie. And then he just starts, so you leave. And he plays the full credits of the movie.
Wow, you're still here. All right. Okay. I love that movie. That's another good movie I like.
but that's neither here nor there. With the credits, we do see our return of the wonderful Sterling Holloway.
Oh, I was so happy to see him. I had forgotten. I kind of forgot that he was going to be in this film, and he's become now at this point through these movies I realized that I kind of missed him in the last couple. I completely forgot he hadn't been in them because he was just so much a part of all of them. And then he kind of just disappeared for a while.
And
then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm back. Hey, everybody. I can't do a Sterling Holloway. I was going to try. I can't.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can. maybe what's his name? Ron Clements, who does all the Disney voices now.
True. He could do a pretty good impersonation.
Yeah.
But no, then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, he's back. Oh my God. I got so excited. So let's just real quick to recap. I have never seen this movie all the way through.
Oh, that's right. Please explain this little. I can't remember if you fully shared this story on the cast before. So go ahead.
So just in case I haven't, when I was little, when this movie came out in when it was re-released on VHS tape in 1991. Released on VHS tape because it was the first time it had been released. I got it for my birthday. It was a birthday gift. One of my family members gave it. It was probably my grandma, the one that used to show me all the old ones, like 3 Caballeros, actually. As a kid, Okay, 91, I was 7 years old when this movie came out, and I'd already, I knew Disney, I liked Disney, I enjoyed them, had never seen it. I put this movie in my VCR.
Mm-hmm.
I watched about 40 minutes into it,
Okay.
and I got bored and turned it off. I'm a 7-year-old kid, whatever,
Right.
kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Kids can get
Surely
bored.
you went back to it. Surely you went back.
See, Shirley, you'd be wrong. And also, don't call me Shirley. But I couldn't resist. So that VHS tape sat on my parents' video shelf for the next 15 years. And then I took it when I moved to my own, I moved out, and it sat in storage until about 3.5, 4 years ago when I finally sold it on VHS, or I finally sold it in a garage sale for like $0.25. And it was still in the same spot I left it in 1991.
Wow, you never went back to it. So you've never. This would be your first official full viewing of the film.
Yes, like I knew who Baloo was. I know the Bare Necessities, but I think the Bare Necessities appear before I turned it off. Actually,
Okay.
I know of the character King Louie. I think I remembered that they actually got Mowgli to the human, like the camp or where the village, but I could not. I honestly could not tell you anything that happened in this film. So I mean, and I can barely remember what happened in the beginning. Like, so even the 40 minutes that I did watch, 26 years ago,
You just had no recollection of it.
no recollection of it. So this was in line with me. Just basically, I basically walked into this having never seen the movie. Is really what I was approaching it as.
All right, so I will jump. Let's just jump right into that then.
Mm-hmm.
This being your first viewing of it, did you like it?
So I didn't.
You didn't. Okay.
I honestly did not. Now, I watch this movie. Normally, when we record the podcast, I watch the movie the day before, so I have some time to let it sit, and then I can gather my opinions better, and then we can talk about it.
Right.
I never like just jumping in with a rash opinion, or just like, hey, let's make a quick decision. I hate this movie. Like, I don't want that. I want that.
It's a beautiful movie.
I love it. And then be like, oh my gosh, this movie was just terrible. Why did I think that was good? I actually watched this 2 days ago from when we were recording this episode, and I had plenty of time to just let it sink in, let it think, let me collect my thoughts. And coming out of it, while watching the movie, I didn't care about anything in the film. I told you, this is why I was trying to forewarn you and forewarn the audience. I'm going to be kind of harsh. I really just don't think this is a good movie at all.
Wow. See, this is great because I do like this movie.
Okay, I'm really glad you do. I'm really, really glad you do because I was hoping for a competing opinion episode.
Yeah. But and please debate me on this. Like, I will point out points, you point out points, and we can try to wrestle each other over it. But I find a lot of enjoyment in this movie for being the chaptered style. There's a lot of charming characters in this, in Baloo and Bagheera and King Louie and Shere Khan as a villain, and the Bare Necessities being the inspiration for Hakuna Matata from The Lion King. Heck, at the time this film came out, Gregory Peck, the classic film actor Gregory Peck, was the president of the Academy of Arts and Science, the head of the Oscars committee. He was the president, and he campaigned harder than he's ever campaigned before to get this movie nominated for Best Picture.
Oh yeah,
for the Oscars.
Oh yeah,
and there was people were aghast by that even being an option, a possibility. So much so that he stepped down from a year later after fighting a battle and losing over. I'm sure there were other elements at play, but one of the battles that he was very disappointed he had lost was that The Jungle Book could not be nominated for Best Picture because it was a cartoon. It's
so strange that and I mean, again, I'm well aware we're in this age where it's just a part of it, and you grow up. If you're a younger listener, movies have always been optioned to to have, or like cartoons have always been able to be nominated for stuff, but to think like we lived in a time when cartoons were just kind of, oh no, what, no cartoon would ever win that, no sci-fi film would ever be nominated for Best Picture, like
no cartoon could possibly be nominated for Best Picture.
Right.
The next time that this happened would be in 1993 or 4 for Beauty and the Beast,
yeah,
which was a hard fought campaign that people again could not believe. How dare they think that a cartoon could be nominated? Like this, the snobbish attitude towards kids stuff, towards kids cartoons, blah. And
it's rubbing off, TC. My inability to talk is rubbing off.
The Beauty and the Beast controversy led to the creation of Best Animated Feature Film, which we had for years until Up and Toy Story 3, and actual animated films have been able to be nominated and have been nominated for Best Picture since. But it's such a weird thing in terms of the history of the Oscars and how film is judged. But however, that's the future we're talking about now. This movie was well received. It was a success for Disney. This was another gamble that if it had failed, especially with Walt's passing, this would have been the end of Disney Animation Studios.
Right, because they would have just ended it, and they would have moved on and went back to the TV shows, the live action stuff, the obviously the theme park that's been open for a while here at this point.
Go back to the TV live action theme park, all the merchandising and whatnot that Disney thrived on. But Jungle Book was a success when it came out in '67. It was such a success in the '90s when they did the re-release and the VHS release that a television spin-off series that was in development for Launchpad McQuack was taken away from Launchpad McQuack and given to all the Jungle Book characters, and that's how we got Tailspin.
Right. That
the success of the re-release of the film and the popularity of these characters had the Disney execs say, you know what, let's do this Tailspin series we were going to do and make it the Jungle Book characters. Let's capitalize on that.
Which seems like such a weird shift and change that they would go that direction with the characters they have. But I do want to say one point, and since we were at Tailspin and Baloo and all that, while I don't care for this movie, I'm not a fan of it. I don't really like it that much. I will agree. The Bare Necessities is still a very classic song. I know the Bare Necessities, and it's a good song. It's a fun, upbeat song, as long as you don't look too deep into the lyrics, which is the truth for 90% of the music you listen to anyways. And I will agree, and I will say this. So these are my two positive things I'm saying regarding the film, unless you convince me to say something otherwise, which you're really good at. But the King Louie segment.
Yes.
I loved
I want to be like you.
I loved the King Louie segment. That was fun. I enjoyed that. And I do know that the King Louie as a character is not in the original book.
Correct, yeah. He was created for this film itself, and originally intended to be voiced by Louis Armstrong, but then went to Louis Prima.
Louis Prima. So it's because Walt decided that he didn't want to cast an African-American man as a monkey.
Yeah, look at that. Growth.
It's like he grew and then he died. Maybe that decision was too much for Walt.
Oh, no, come on.
Hey, Walt, we've already discussed this. Walt's a wee bit racist in these films, okay? Come on. I'm not the only one that knows this.
Okay, all right. But Mr. Disney.
But no, so I liked the King Louie segment. That it was a lot of fun. I liked Baloo dressing up as the monkey. That was kind of funny, and I enjoyed the song, and I enjoyed just that moment. And it's fitting that that's the segment that's not remotely influenced by the book.
Right. The peak of the film is you go Bare Necessities directly into King Louie section.
Right.
That's those two scenes back to back are fantastic.
Right.
They're a lot of fun. There's a great energy in both of those. The introduction of Baloo followed immediately by the introduction of King Louie, who we never see again.
Yeah.
But there's that's the best section of the film are those two back to back showstopper songs, which if you look at the history of the more musical Disney's films, as we'll see down the road, the slow number, the showstopper, the villain song that becomes standard in the Renaissance and the current era we're in now. There's a lot templated here in Jungle Book.
Right.
And it's good.
It's good. Sorry, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I was letting you talk. I was letting you talk. I was paying attention. I was. Yeah, and they're very good. It's a lot of that section is a lot of fun. My biggest thing is like at this point. So I was kind of when I was watching the film, I'm like, okay, so maybe the beginning is a little slow because once we reach this point, it kind of piques my interest again. I was kind of back into it. I was starting to enjoy it a little bit more, and then I believe it's after the King Louis segment. That's when we actually get to meet. Oh my goodness, the bad guy,
Shere Khan.
Yep. Which my biggest issue with that is like, okay, we've heard his name mentioned a couple of times. We're 47 minutes into the film, and we're 47 minutes into the hour 18. We have a half hour left of this movie, and now we get to actually meet the villain. Yeah. And he comes off as, I mean, I understand, I understand they kind of based his looks on the voice actor of George Sanders. I know that kind of helped dictate the way that he was going to be conveyed. He kind of came off as a little more of a upper crust, like British, like kind of just personality, just, oh, I don't need you, but I rule all. Kind of actually a little, ironically, I can see Scar.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Scar definitely has a lot of elements of Shere Khan here.
Yeah.
Because Shere Khan is an aristocrat. He comes off like an aristocrat.
Correct.
And a high in the social echelon, like the higher echelons of the social elite, and he has a very pompous, prideful attitude.
Thank you for putting it into words, but I could not say, because that is correct. That's how I was thinking.
Now I see your criticism that he's not introduced until the third act of the film, though the information is there throughout that we need to get Mowgli away from Shere Khan. If Shere Khan finds Mowgli, he's dead.
Right.
The mention of that happens throughout, and then finally we get to this reveal of Shere Khan himself.
And my biggest problem is that they talked him up. It's obviously like we have to get Mowgli safe. We have to get him somewhere safe. Shere Khan's going to attack. He's going to kill him. He doesn't like humans. And it's just like there's all this talk up, and then we finally get the character, and I'm just like, oh, do something to show what everyone's saying you are. And I was conflicted because I immediately went, he's a horrible villain because you're not actually giving me anything in this film to make me feel like worried for Mowgli or anybody trying. Like I had no concern for any of the characters.
Not even when Baloo seemingly died?
See, that was the thing. And that whole segment just goes by so quickly too. And then Shere Khan runs off and I'm like, oh, he'll be back. Oh, this can't be the end. Oh no, he's gone. And that's it. I'm like, this, so much of that bothered me. But I did, and again, like I said, this is where I'm conflicted with it because I understand, like, you see, like, the movie Jaws, you don't see the shark for, like, the first hour, I think, you see, like, glimpses of it. You never get a good look of it. It's all just from people talking about it and little pieces or little things. You let your imagination run wild, and I could
threats,
right,
the threat of the shark, the threat of Shere Khan,
and I could see that. I can make that connection with Shere Khan here. I can see them going. He's a big, dangerous foe. He's going to attack. He's going to kill Mowgli. Truthfully, in my head, for it to work more, for it to have more of an impact on me, Shere Khan should have never talked.
Oh wow! Just to complete. Well, I can see that.
Because I worry if the moment he opened his mouth and started talking, and again, this is my opinion. This is the way that I'm looking at it.
Of course.
I'm like, oh, you're just kind of British. And I'm like, it kind of just not
British.
Not saying British people can't be evil, can't be bad. I know Jack the
Ripper. Watch any of the early Star Wars. All the Brits are the bad guys.
Exactly. But it's still, it undercut it for me at least with that character. And I'm like, and never mind. I know it's a Disney film, and I know Mowgli's going to make it, and I know everyone's going to be fine. I understand that, but just overall, like I couldn't get out of my head. That's just like I don't I feel no sense of threat
Okay.
from him.
I feel that his all bark and no bite, and his rather easy defeat speaks more to his character than had he been the true threat that everyone assumed he was. That he much like other villains who build their villainy on their reputation as opposed to their ability. Much like Scar, not to jump to Lion King,
Right.
but Scar, his machinations, his brain is really what causes him to succeed and or fail. He has people doing his dirty work for him.
Right.
Shere Khan has this reputation that everyone's afraid of, and we never actually see it in action. The most we get is Baloo versus Shere Khan with the help of the vultures and Mowgli. That it's this team effort to defeat him.
Right. And I mean, and you can see that he's not susceptible to Kaa, the snake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you get that little bit. So they do give you a moment of, oh, well, he can defend him. You know, obviously Kaa, who we've already seen at this point, brainwash Mowgli, briefly brainwash Bagheera. Like you see that, you do see them like these other potential strong characters be brainwashed, but then Shere Khan doesn't just basically has nothing to do with it. He's got no time for that.
You can't fool me.
Yeah.
Come on, Khan.
and so you do get that moment, but it just I don't know. I have a long like breakdown, not a long breakdown, but it's like a page breakdown of just my reasons behind it, and we can keep talking. We can keep going about the rest of the movie. I don't want this to be a 25-minute rant about why I don't like this film.
Why you don't? Well, that actually is the whole point of this podcast, is to talk about whether we like or don't like a movie.
I suppose that is true. I guess I have said the majority of my opinion. Just the fact that none of these characters, Baloo, like I said, I liked Baloo. Baloo was funny. And I understand where Bagheera is coming from. I understand it's all for the better of Mowgli, just to get him somewhere to be safe. I understand that, but none of the characters really did anything for me just to make me remotely interested in them. I just didn't care, and I feel horrible saying that. Because
how dare you, Jeff?
I know, because even with
this
Alice
is a classic film.
Because with like Alice in Wonderland, like even that movie, I was just like, well, I didn't care for it, but I don't think I hated Alice in Wonderland, and I don't even want to say the word hate because that's not true. I just don't care. Nothing. This movie ended. I was like, all right, it's done.
Game over. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of my thought about it, and that's when I realized that I needed that extra time to really make sure that was my feeling and it wasn't just some weird funk I was in when I watched it.
Right.
But unfortunately,
let's see.
not.
Let me jump ahead.
Yes.
Let me jump ahead to we have our lessons section when we watch these Disney films. We discuss, is this a movie good for kids? Is there something to be learned here? And our theories section. I'm going to kind of blend all these together for you. First of all, do you have any theories for this? I've jumped way ahead here, and I want to keep discussing the film, but I just want to see if you have any theories.
I wasn't able to find anything in particular for discussion. So.
I did a paper on this film back in college.
Okay.
For a English course that we used film and adaptations and whatever. It doesn't matter what the class was for. And the thesis that I built my paper upon was the Jungle Book as a representation of the 7 deadly sins.
Okay.
That the characters in this film can and do represent the 7 deadly sins. And therefore you could use this film as a light lesson to children who may watch and enjoy this film, to point out, like, hey, you don't want to be like this character, or you don't want to be like this character, and allow me to explain the 7 that we have. So,
okay.
First we have wrath in Shere Khan. He is wrath incarnate, right? He's just angry not much of a good reason. He apparently has a thing against dudes, against man, human, not just dudes in general.
Well, and I think Bagheera made the comment. He's like, well, they'll come and they'll kill them. Like that's all man's good for. So we kind of get a little bit of the whole Bambi backstory or not backstory, but like reasoning that man's only good for killing.
Right. And side note, Shere Khan tries to kill Bambi's mom.
This is also true. I saw that.
Okay, so Ka, the snake, represents lust.
Okay.
So he's lusting after, not lust in a sexual sense, but in just a gimme sense.
Right. I get you.
Right. Colonel Hathi, the elephant, who leads his troop, is a representation of pride.
Real quick, Disney has this really weird thing with generals in their movies. Continue, please.
Well, he's a colonel. Thank you very much.
Sorry. He's a colonel.
Got the Victoria. The Colonel Hathi. Gluttony in Baloo, who's clearly a glutton. Now, however, you could also claim him as sloth, but
true.
I assign sloth to Bagheera, who spends most of the film trying to get rid of his responsibility, to end his responsibility of watching over Mowgli. Just get him out of the equation so I can go back to sleeping and doing my thing. Right.
Right.
That's not an easy one. That one's not like a very solid. Envy in Mowgli, who envies all the people, the wolves. He wants to be a wolf. He envies Baloo the bear because he wants to be a bear. He envies the apes because he wants to be an ape. And greed in King Louie, who is greeding after he is greedy for the fire, the man's fire. Now, granted, I didn't get a good grade on this paper, but this was the argument to be made by these characters. So, in a lesson you could give children would be, hey, you're being greedy. Like King Louie, you don't want to be like that. You're being wrathful like Shere Khan. You don't want to be like that. So that's a loose theory. I'm obviously not supporting it very well, other than just listing off the characters and their assigned sins.
No, but that is interesting, and that's an interesting way to approach it and to use the film as like a teaching tool, which we've discussed that some of these films are very good at being that type of material to show kids, to show younger minds these films and be like, look, here's a kid friendly and easier to understand version of this very deep adult topic, and this film could definitely be used like that. It's going along the lines of whether you should show it to kids. I mean, obviously there's nothing in this film that's inappropriate or scary. Right. Except for the vultures that look like the Beatles, which I know were supposed to be the Beatles, but were never the Beatles, which would have just been weird. Oh, that would have been messed up, I think.
I don't think they would have done a Barbershop Quartet song.
No, it wouldn't have been the Beatles. They made the Barbershop Quartet because the Beatles weren't going to be, or were not going to be in it. And they just left the looks of the animals because they had already designed them.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
The bits, the chapters, the characters themselves, the songs. There's a lot of great songs in this. I think this movie is great for kids to dive into, and it doesn't have the goofy, the cutesy, kiddie, very kid-like appeal. It doesn't pander in a sense, but it also isn't as dark as, say, Sword in the Stone or Sleeping Beauty. That it rides a fine line between the more mature style that animation can have and still be accessible to little kids to enjoy the songs and the colorful characters and the animation.
Right.
There's a nice blend of the aspects that these movies have given us over the course of the 18 films we've watched so far.
Which, real quick, I do want to mention that while I have been kind of shooting the movie down for my opinion, the animation looks gorgeous, even though we're in that Xerox world of filmmaking.
Oh, yeah, they've improved. They've improved the Xerox method.
Things
They're still using
a little cleaner looking.
Yes, yeah, it's not as sloppy as Sword in the Stone and 101 Dalmatians.
Right,
definitely the multi-paned technique of going into the jungle, that
so beautiful,
wonderfully realized. They do have some reused animation, as is, I guess that's more for your trope section, but they reused animation from 101 Dalmatians, Bambi, as we mentioned before, Sword in the Stone, but it does have a more refined look than Sword in the Stone had.
Right. It definitely does. And it feels more, it feels, as much as a cartoon can from this era, it feels more real than Sword of the Stone. Sword of the Stone still kind of had that, not impressionist, but just kind of more artistic. Sloppier approach to it. Definitely, like, where Lady and the Tramp was flat out like as realistic as they could make a drawing, look, and then we get to some of these ones we've been watching recently where it gets very just artsy and kind of like impressionistic and stuff and sloppier, and now we're kind of edging back towards let's clean things up a little bit. This doesn't have to be that cheaply put together, which is so weird to think like the ones that tanked tended to be the ones that were the more sloppy of them, and I guess that's not weird. Maybe audiences knew. Maybe audiences looked at it and went, "This just looks like crap. Why is this?"
The backgrounds and the characters blended together more nicely, nicer than they had with Sword in the Stone, which the backgrounds are that Bill Pete sloppy outside the line style that 101 Dalmatians also had. That the animation in this is better. It is better. It looks better. It's cleaner, and the characters, though they did reuse animation, a lot of these characters move with such personality specific to themselves.
Right.
I really appreciated that there are no characters, at least of the main cast, that feel like any other character. When you look at, say, the fairies from Sleeping Beauty, I defy you to try to pinpoint their names, right? Like they're so similar to one another,
right? Like if you put them in silhouette and you saw them moving, they would all look the same,
right? And Baloo moves like he moves like himself, and Louie, love how King Louie and the monkeys move around. Shere Khan, they clearly studied tigers for him. Even Bagheera could have looked just like Shere Khan in his movement, but there's a very distinct difference in how those two characters are animated, and I really appreciate the technicality of bringing these characters to life.
Yeah.
And whereas Sword in the Stone felt empty in that there wasn't an ensemble, there weren't big crowd scenes or whatnot, this movie benefits by not having large crowds. The biggest crowd you get is the Council of Wolves before Mowgli has to be sent away because Shere Khan is returning.
Right, which is only like a minute-long scene, and you only see them in their full, I think twice in the entire scene. Otherwise, it's mostly just kind of one-offs or one-on-ones or maybe like 2 or 3 characters at most.
Right. So they found a way to be more efficient in how they presented the story without losing anything, like Sword in the Stone does. It loses something in not having crowds and not having multiple... and talking about Hobbs but never seeing him. This movie benefits in the jungle being so alive and such a character in the setting that it is, and all these individuals throughout the chapters getting to shine one by one. Mowgli, I think it was someone pointed this out. It was on our Facebook page that Mowgli is the main character, but he's not. He's just there, like he's along for he's the MacGuffin. Get this thing over here, and everybody else has the story. Bagheera's the narrator who opens the movie, and he walks off into the jungle sunset with Baloo.
Right.
He's the perspective character for the most part, but Mowgli is he doesn't have much of a personality. I would argue that he has just as much personality as Arthur, but that's not necessarily a compliment.
Right. Well, it's even with Arthur, I feel at least Arthur had a little bit of a character arc, a little bit of a character growth from the beginning to the end. A little,
true, yeah.
Not a ton. I will agree with you there. But Mowgli at the beginning of this film feels very much so the same as he does at the end of this film. Like I don't see your analogy that he is the MacGuffin totally makes sense, because that's it. That's exactly the whole point of that character, is just to get all these other characters to have their moment in the film, in the story, to shine and to be a little more developed. But when in reality, none of the characters have any growth, in my opinion, throughout the entire film.
Yeah, at most you could say that Baloo learns to let go.
Right.
Now Baloo, the hippie that he is, he's clearly a stoner, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Because I mean, he's just like this let life kind of go by. And,
Doobie,
yeah.
doobie.
You didn't see it, but Baloo had tiny bags of Doritos inside of his fur the entire time.
That makes so much sense.
And Funyuns.
So Wyatt on our Facebook page, for those listening who would like to comment, you can always visit the Disney or our Top Shelf Facebook page, facebook.com/Top Shelf Pod, if you want to comment on the movies we're discussing before we record or after we record. Wyatt pointed out that, well, he asked, and what do you think of this, Jeff? Mm-hmm. Is this film the most product of its time that we've seen of the 18 films so far?
In the sense of just like the type of characters that they're in there, and
the characters, the music stylings, specifically that the jazzy big band music that they have, and the stoner character in Baloo. Do you feel that this? I think it is a product of the times that you would have this. I love big band music. Jeff, I know you love big band music.
I do like big band music, which I think is the reason why I like the King Louis segment so much. Just because I'm like, oh yeah, I got this music. I got this. I dig, man. I dig.
Yeah, man. I dig it.
I guess that's a good point, and I could, yeah, you know what? I would agree. I would agree that this does feel more like it's a movie from the 60s, from the, you know, obviously it had been in production for a handful of years, like all the other ones before and after this it does feel very kind of rooted in the 60s in that tone, in the character choices.
To address Wyatt's point that is it the most, I don't think it's the most. That he did mention that the package films definitely have very rooted in the time, as we discussed if anyone feels like going back and listening or recalls,
right,
that the war affected the narrative of those films, at least the narrative of each of the vignettes that are in those films. I feel that 101 Dalmatians is as much a product of the 60s and the post-war era that the world was going through than say the Jungle Book. The Jungle Book 100% is affected by the 60s. They wanted the Beatles in it. Baloo is clearly a beach bum. Mm-hmm. Stoner or not, he's exactly the type of what a millennial would be now.
It would be the equivalent of having a millennial in a Disney movie these days, right? Like it as a character where you could be like, oh yeah, obviously that's supposed to be a millennial. Yeah, mm-hmm. That makes sense. That does make sense, especially because up until this point, there hasn't been a character that's obviously like the stoner or hippie type character. So you can really, but you do bring up a good point that like the package films do have a lot of that. Or sorry, Wyatt brought up that point too, that they do have that kind of 40s era just tone and mentality towards life, and there's a whole nother country down here, everybody. They are rich too. They're not all poor. Just
so yeah.
Yes.
So it is certainly a product of its time, and that probably has a lot to do with the fact that they weren't trying to directly adapt the source material, that they were trying to get to a more pleasing production, mm-hmm. right? That Sword in the Stone being so grim and not as people didn't respond to it as well as Walt had hoped. That cutting the storytellers and the animators loose and trying to get them more tap into the vein of what people wanted, which I won't necessarily say is pandering, but this film is a product of being a part of the 60s. However, it still feels timeless to me. That this film isn't so rooted in its era that it hurts the film decades later. There are films, I will point to DreamWorks as the biggest offender of this. Their animated films, they try to capitalize so much on pop culture of the time mm-hmm. that 5-10 years later, the jokes are super dated. I mean, there's an American Idol joke in Shrek.
Right.
Is anyone going to even remember American Idol in 10 years?
Right. And whereas like this film, if I know going into this podcast, I couldn't tell you where the Jungle Book fell in, you know, the Disney library, besides the fact that I knew it took place before Little Mermaid.
Yes,
I
yeah.
knew it was before mid 80s, but I couldn't tell if he was it could, as far as I knew, it could have been the 40s. It could have been the 50s. And
Yeah.
if you don't look at if you don't look at Baloo as, oh, he's a hippie, if you don't see the Beatles, if you don't see that kind of tone, the jazz music could kind of throw you off even to thinking it could be the late 40s.
Right.
It
feels timeless.
It does.
Having the Barbershop Quartet number was a decision made when they didn't get the Beatles. When they couldn't land the Beatles to play those characters, they just decided, let's make it a barbershop number, and with the specific reasoning that it'll make it feel timeless. Mm-hmm. Knowing that without the Beatles there, if we tried to mimic them, that would date the film.
Right. It's so weird that barbershop quartets, like that, which in its own right, in theory, should, like that concept is so old, but it's no longer like dateable, I guess you could say, because it's such an old concept that if you could throw a barbershop quartet in anything nowadays, and people just be like, okay, yeah,
that's
all right.
a thing.
That's a thing that people just reference. People have always referenced barbershop quartets. This isn't anything that's like, oh, this is obviously a movie made in 1886. No, it's not a thing. Or
no.
I think it's so funny that barbershop quartets have gone so far. It's been so long that they've been dated in a particular time that they no longer are dateable.
Right. Well, that is weird. If you think about something like on The Office, Andy's band in The Office was a barbershop quartet.
Right.
That's weird.
But then you look at the I Love Lucy episode from the late 50s, early 60s. There's one of them where they're doing a barbershop quartet, and there's like even then it was probably like a 30-year-old concept.
It really is a timeless concept.
It is. Now, if it was
think Louis Prima would be what would date this film, but that song, "Want to Be Like You," is so damn good, and it's animated so well. The energy's so great about it. The characterizations are so good that it withstands the test of time. Louis Prima as this big band director. Kids don't care and don't know who Louis Prima is, but they know who King Louis is.
Yep. And I guess, hey, if you can be known for at least you're this younger generation of kids that would have no idea who you are, no idea, and especially nowadays, man's been gone for almost 30 years, 40 years now at this point. It'll be 40 years next August. But like, it's just, if you can be at least known for something that you voiced yourself to, now you have a whole new generation of people that will always remember you, and that's cool. That's awesome.
That is pretty great. Yeah. That, for come to think of it, this might be the introduction to that style of music.
Right.
That you might be able to convince an adolescent or a preteen or a teen, someone who might not think, oh, that's not cool music. They might subconsciously like, I want to be like you so much that they're like, oh yeah, I like big band. I'd never realized this.
Yep, exactly. And then you start looking into him. Like, I'm just scrolling through his IMDb credits right now just to see. Man's got 195 soundtrack credits. Like,
nice.
All the way up until recently, as in like movies and TV shows up until a couple months ago, his music is still being used. So it's not like it's not like he's gone forever. People can easily still stumble across his stuff, and that's really kind of cool.
Find his records.
The
music in this movie really, I couldn't help but sing along to Bare Necessities when that song kicked in. Mm-hmm. I couldn't help but sing along to Want to Be Like You when that kicked in. And even Trust in Me is a good number, and the song that the girl sings in the end of the film, the I will go and fetch the water, that is a motif throughout the whole movie, that whenever the discussion of Man's Village comes up, they play that melody, and that's the payoff of that motif in the end when she sings the song. It's the realization of the journey completed.
Oh, interesting. I missed that.
Yeah. Anytime Man's Village is brought up, you get a little you get a little bit of that melody.
See, this is why. See, this right here is not the sole reason. This is one of the many reasons TC is a part of this podcast, because he catches stuff like this that I did not even catch that. I'm so focused on the story and character motivations. That's all that I seem to care about. That's my area. That's what bothers me the most, or is what attracts my attention the most. Is just the character motivation. TC's over here finding out connections to literary references and analogies to the seven sins and musical motifs.
So there are elements of the script, however, that I can both accept and criticize when looking at them too much, which is how swiftly everything occurs in this film. That Baloo adopts and falls to fatherly love of this little cub that he wants so quickly that it is a story that's rushed over the course of 3 days, but it could easily have been stretched out over the course of weeks. It just comes off in a matter of days in the course over this film, and therefore everything feels like it happens way faster than it should. Like Bagheera giving up and going away, and then coming back going, "Oh, I knew this would happen eventually." Like, you've been gone 5 minutes. Come on,
It's like, you barely had enough time to. We saw you. You weren't out of eye shot the entire time you were gone.
Yeah.
Come on, come on, son. But yeah, so I guess overall, sir, you seem to be you enjoyed this movie, right? That's what
I
it sounds
did
like?
enjoy this movie.
Okay.
It is fun and it's cute, and I love the characters. I love the music. I love the technicality and the animation, and I don't know if I can necessarily understand why you don't like it. Which you don't have to defend your opinion.
No.
I'm not chastising you for disliking it. I'm just letting you know that this. It is the music and the characters, and perhaps my love for Tailspin, the TV series, that gives me a lot of love for this film. And it's been a good number of years since I've watched it, and it was still good. I will say that it didn't hold my attention through, like all the way through. Like I would say that 101 Dalmatians did, and though this might be giving away some ranking in terms of explaining that, there were a couple moments of just a brief lull that gave me an opportunity to jot some notes down or whatnot.
Right.
But, it has an interesting pace to it. I love the tone of it, and yeah, I like it. I suppose that would be the perfect opportunity for me to say, of all the movies we've watched so far.
No.
Now,
How dare you?
I
will. Let me just say this real quick. We are in the ranking section. I will say that one of the last thoughts I had regarding the film, that I was trying to rationalize why I don't like it. I've never liked Tarzan.
Okay.
I've never liked
Disney's Tarzan.
Well, I've never liked the concept of Tarzan or the idea of Tarzan. The whole man, like boy in the woods that grows up and just lives in the wood. Or in the jungle and is like friends with all animals and it has no liking for humans. I've never ever cared for that storyline or that concept. I love George of the Jungle because it makes fun of that concept. But I don't know. I've never liked that. And I feel like watching this movie, I kind of started having feelings of like Tarzan. Like I see Mowgli, if they had never gotten back to the village, Mowgli would have become Tarzan. Like that's
grown up and become Tarzan.
Yeah, like that's where he was going. So I don't know if that was that heavily influenced my opinion as well. But that was the last thought that I had regarding it, which is it's going to be interesting in 20 more episodes when we do Tarzan. It's going to be fun. So TC, where on our list do you rank the movie? I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. I'm leaving Lady and the Tramp at number 1. I do feel I'll stick with my argument since I put it there. The animation, the story, the pop cultural influence that film's one single scene has, the fulfillment of the arcs of the characters, everything works in that film. Cinderella, I'm going to leave number 2 because of the absolute epitome that it is of princess storytelling, what will become the standard and the parody of every princess that follows is rooted in that Disney Cinderella. So my debate then is, currently I have, I believe, hold on, where's my list here?
Sword in the Stones, number 3.
Sword in the Stones, number 3, and 101 Dalmatians, number 4. I'm going to place Jungle Book as my number 3.
Ooh.
Because I love those two songs. Yeah, it's tough. Once again, as I always say, it's so hard because one movie or another edges the other one out by a fraction, by a sliver sometimes. And Sword in the Stone, Jungle Book, 101 Dalmatians are all my number 3 in a way. As I said, 101 Dalmatians holds my attention a little stronger straight through than the Jungle Book does. However, Jungle Book has these songs that are earworms that stick with me. And Sword of the Stone, having the nostalgia that I have for it, and the adventures of Merlin and the Knights of the Round Table, there's something to be said in there. But I am going to place Jungle Book at number 3 for the reasons of the music, of the characterizations, of the style of the film, being so influential on the movies that will follow in the course of Disney's animation history. So there you go. It's my number 3.
Fantastic, TC. So for the exact opposite reason, no, I did. I put thought into this, just so you guys know. I have a rational reason.
Get him!
Burn her! I've become a witch all of a sudden. It's my number 9.
Wow, all the way at the bottom. That's amazing.
And I thought about this. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just being, I didn't like this movie, we're just going to put it at the bottom, I don't care. I thought about it because, like we always do, I always try to go back and I look at the movies that are on our list so far, the ones that are in our top 10 ranking here, and I think about, would I watch that one before I'd watch Jungle Book? If I had, Alice in Wonderland and The Jungle Book in my hand, which movie would I pick?
Right.
And I did that all the way down the list. And it was always the other movie. I never picked The Jungle Book. Even Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
You would watch before Jungle Book.
Yes. Because, truthfully, Mr. Toad still had good, funny moments in it once they get to the house. Once they got to the house and they're running around, that was pretty fun. That was entertaining. And I love the second half. I love the whole Ichabod because I like Sleepy Hollow. I like that whole concept. So even though that was my number 8 at the bottom of my list, I would still be more inclined to put that on over top of the Jungle Book.
Wow.
If that's saying,
okay.
I would put Alice in Wonderland on before I would watch the Jungle Book again. That's saying something. And I was kind of just okay with Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
But it's
interesting.
And I will agree with you. I as I previously said, while I've been bashing the movie more so on this episode, I agree with you that the Bare Necessities is a great song, and again, I love the King Louie segment. That's a lot of fun, and there was a few times that I laughed in the movie, and I do like some of the characters. But when it comes down to it, I walked away from that movie not remotely interested in any of the characters after we were done with it. And if I can't be invested in at least a character, or if I can't care about like a story arc or a part or like a plot, even if it's a thin, it's just we got to get him from here to here. If I can't even have any interest in that, I don't care about the movie anymore. So it's my number 9, TC.
You know what? That is your prerogative, and I feel you made your point. Like you made your argument well. I hope that I made my argument as well.
I hope I made mine well because I felt so bad. I wanted to make sure I had my thoughts clearly stated because, frankly, I understand that this is a favorite of a lot of people. A lot of people do enjoy The Jungle Book, and I can kind of see why. I can understand that, and that's I get it. It's just for me personally, it's not. I don't care about it enough, and I feel horrible because the Bare Necessities was like the second Disney song I ever learned growing up.
We do have some comments on the Facebook page. Thomas said he'll go into more details on it, but he did want to point out that Baloo is certainly a stoner.
Fantastic.
Seen as his first line is Doobie. Right? Wyatt is a big fan of this film. He didn't rank it necessarily, but I do read his comment to say that this is definitely in the top of his favorites. Maybe not number 1 exactly, but he was showing a lot of love for it. See, I do have a couple tweets. So this is a tweet from one of our regulars, Dig 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 Hi Ho.
Ooh, welcome back.
So Disney. Are the monkeys as racist as the crows?
You know what? No, I don't think so.
No.
I never got
Yeah.
a tone of like racist, like on racist
There's no
undertone
malice
or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. It's no, they are not. The crows are. I mean, they're named Jim Crow. They are clearly playing up a stereotype
Right.
in those characters. Whereas the cheeky monkeys, Louis Prima voicing the character is Italian. Had it been Louis Armstrong, like we said,
Yep.
Mr. Walt Disney did learn his lesson and
Right.
realized having a black man voice a monkey or an ape in the heat of the civil rights movement was not a smart move. So
Right.
he was aware of that. So just having that recognition of the character, I don't see anything inherently racist about these characters. And if you, the viewer, are looking at those monkeys and projecting black people onto that for that reason, you're the racist.
You're the racist now. Sorry to hit it.
Oh, dig, hi ho. I'm not implying that you are a racist for asking the question. I hope that the simple fact that you're asking the question was more to be cheeky and less to be, well, I think they are.
right. And if it wasn't, can we have a talk off camera, please? Because we need to discuss some things.
You can message me.
Yes, we need to have some conversations about how you need to approach these things in the future.
Do you have any comments or tweets from Jungle Book? 'Cause
No,
I do have one more comment here.
I did not have anything for the Jungle Book this week.
Okay.
This one was kind of. I know. Obviously, I saw there was a bunch of posts on Facebook regarding it, but we brought those guys up already. So if you have another one, please feel free, sir, to go ahead.
Okay, this is from Archimedes, but the 3 is spelled, or the E is with a 3.
Ooh, fancy. Classic internet name.
You guys didn't rank Mim and Merlin into the Wizard's Duel.
Oh, yes.
Last week we did not. Now, I had held off because I thought we were going to have one more magic user, which technically we do in Ka, being a hypnotist.
True. Very good point. I did not even make that. I completely forgot that would be classified as a magic.
Right. So, but let's be fair, Ka would be out really quickly.
Yes, he's a snake. Look how like inept he kind of is as with his tail is in a knot. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
He's not.
So he certainly has no ranking. Really, he's not a threat. In if anything, if in our Street Fighter style game, Ka is a summon. He's not a playable character.
Right. He'd be something that you would get for like a one-off move or something like that,
Right.
and then that's it.
But Merlin and Mim, however, are definitely worth being in the ranks here.
And I feel like both of those could last quite some time because you just saw that little mini battle that they had in the movie, and you saw how almost equally matched the two of them were to one another. Mm-hmm. And Merlin can make himself
cheating.
into a rocket and fly to
Bermuda.
To Bermuda. That's right. I couldn't remember where he flew to.
Oh, you know what? I'm flipping through my pages right now. Just a quick tangent. I realized re-listening to our episode from last week that as I was turning pages, it was like coming through the mic really clearly. So I apologize for that. But yeah, Merlin and Mim, that would be because right now we have Maleficent and Yensid as our two strongest wizards, sorcerers, magic users.
With what the Barrock?
With Cernabog.
Cernabog, yeah, as like kind of like third almost, like he's like it's
we haven't necessarily ranked them exactly, but those are the top, like our 3 strongest wizard performers. So where exactly? Archimedes, I would like to know where you would place Merlin and Mim, because now we have a battle here.
Right.
Merlin, Mim, Yensid, and Maleficent. That would be. I think Maleficent would be able to be defeated by the 3 of them now in a battle royale because she would be so frustrated in both Mim and Merlin.
Yes, because they wouldn't be in her eyes. They're not taking this seriously. Like they're not. They're like that would be her personality. I could see her just being like, "Oh, would you are being fools. Like we are battling here." Like,
and that would be her downfall. That she wouldn't be able to tolerate them.
Right.
And to be honest, I think Mim would team up with Merlin until it was just the last of them. Until she was the second to last standing, I feel like she would cheat and help and do whatever she can to take advantage of the situation to defeat whoever's stronger. Maleficent is the strongest. She calls upon the powers of hell. She's certainly strong, but I think Mim would go after her with the others first before turning on them. Like, we did it, blam!
Right. And it would be a total, like, out of left field turn against Merlin at that point. But
I think she would take out Yensid and then try to turn on Merlin, and Merlin would see it coming, because he knows she would cheat. He was prepared for her in the Wizard's Duel, so much so that he turned into a germ.
That's true.
And it's funny, I didn't think about this last week, Merlin doesn't cheat in the Wizard's Duel. He uses his intellect to win it. But he did tell Archimedes that if it mattered, he would cheat.
That's a good point. So he's not, obviously we know this from the movie. He's not as trustworthy as possible. But that's a good. So we think that he would take out Yasmin first, or that's right. We'd have Nim gone. So basically, what we're saying is Melvin's the winner then, right?
Merlin.
Guys, help me! I think it's been a long couple of weeks.
It's the heat. It's hot as a jungle in my place right now.
It is very hot here, and there was some idiot outside, I think, cutting a tree down.
Well, if it means anything to you, I can't hear it at all. It might be picking up on your mic, but I don't hear it at all.
Oh my goodness! So I'm sorry if you hear any background noise. I was actually expecting it to start raining because it was really dark and stormy about 5 minutes before we started recording, and now it's blue sky with the sun's out. So some idiot was out there cutting a tree down, I guess. Anyways.
The Wizard's Duel continues to be a debate. I don't certainly want to come up to an answer or not. I think the discussion has been had, but always looking forward to. Thank you for reminding us.
Yes,
Archimedes with a 3 in place of the E.
It's a really long screen name. I mean, did they spell that all out like that? Because
it's true. Yeah, it's Archimedes where the E is a 3 instead of an E.
It's like you could have just spelled out Archimedes with a E. Or a 3 instead of the E, but you actually
it's worth explaining.
Yes, you had to explain the whole thing.
You don't want anyone saying Archimedes 3S.
Because that's just wrong. But I'm sure we will come back to more of the Magic User battle, because we definitely have a lot of Magic Users coming up in the future. Probably another handful of movies down the line. We'll bring them back up again.
It's looking at what we have next and a couple more after that. I don't think we have any Magic Users in the next couple, but we all know there are other Magic Users coming, so
yes.
we will see. So
Just give it time,
that's all the comments I had. I did mention my theory earlier that the movie can sort of represent the 7 deadly sins in a fashion. I do think this movie is well worth children watching it. Stick a kid in front of this. It is one that's either going to have my attention as a kid like me, where I watch the whole thing, or someone like Jeff's attention who turns it off and doesn't go back to it for 20 years.
You guys can't tell, but I'm waving at the microphone right now. Because that's me.
Yeah. Do you have anything else, Jeff?
Nothing else, because we kind of hit everything that we would have talked about. Wasn't a whole lot of tropes or firsts this time, besides, like we said, the recycled animation. That was kind of the main one that came across the board.
The opening of the book at the beginning,
right.
Sterling Holloway as a voice,
right.
And actually Phil Harris, the voice of Baloo, who we will see next week in
The Aristocats.
The Aristocats. Now, I have you seen The Aristocats?
I have not.
Okay, so you don't even have a partial knowledge of this film.
Nope. I literally have no clue what happens in this. Now, I just opened up the Wikipedia page, and I see Ava Garber, and then Sterling Holloway, and Scatman Carruthers. So already I know more about this movie than I ever have known in my life. So.
Okay. So next episode will be The Aristocats.
Right.
Okay. And that'll be our 20th one, which means we will be ending this chunk of films. I did have one other tweet.
Yes.
And I want this to be a casual conversation because I don't want us to look too hard at it.
Okay.
Because I looked hard at it and it kind of boggled my mind or confounded me.
Okay.
It was a tweet from, I forgot to write the name down again. I'm sorry. It was a Game of Thrones reference. I know your name was a Game of Thrones reference. A tweet we had, a mention of, have we looked at our breaks in the 10? Because some of our breaks happen kind of eras.
Okay.
Thus making our the one in particular is we go from Beauty and the Beast as our number 30, and then 31 is Aladdin. So we like break right in the middle of the Renaissance.
Ooh.
So I feel like that's going to be what he pointed out was we picked a really difficult breakdown to break them up in 10 like this.
Yeah.
We've kind of made it difficult on ourselves where we stop and where we start the next thing, because if you could say that this is the next episode is the beginning of the Dark Ages.
True, very true. Because at this point now we have we have little, like we're getting less and less connection with Walt having any kind of connection to the film itself. That's a good point.
It was a fun note, and then I looked a little closer and was like, oh my God, what have we done?
What have we done? Though, I guess. Well, let's see here. What is that batch? You know what though? Ooh!
Don't look too hard.
Oh no, that's bad. Because I'm already figuring out what order those movies are going to be in my head.
You gotta go one at a time.
Oh,
you gotta go one at a time.
Well, it makes it easy for me when it comes to the 80s, I guess.
Yeah, because you haven't seen half of them.
Yeah, so, I haven't seen half of those, and I will already tell you what my number one is for that one.
Next, you've mentioned more than once Beauty and the Beast is your favorite movie ever.
It is going to be my number one. I don't care how good Oliver and Company is.
Oh, no comment. So next episode will be the Aristocats. Now we are taking a week off, I believe, at least a week off. I am going to be filming all of next week every day, so I just won't have time to jump on and record with Jeff.
Right.
I don't want to make time and force an episode out, so if you guys don't mind, we are going to take a break. It's unfortunate it's happening right here on the last of our 10 for this, but we're going to take a week off. I am recording another episode of my other podcast, The Rewatchman, where Ben and I will be discussing the 2009 animated Wonder Woman. Ooh. So if you do want a fix of animation conversation,
NTC,
and hear my dulcet tones, I will be posting an episode of The Rewatchman in a few days, probably around. Well, probably on Monday next week is when it'll pop up online. So if you do want to listen to me talk, you can listen to that. However, I will point out that Jeff and I tend to have a little lighter fare in our conversation, and Ben and I tend to get a little more social commentary, and we dig into a little deeper analysis of film as well as current pop culture and just culture in general. So I will say the Rewatchman tends to be a little more weighty. I'm not trying to say that to turn you off. I'm just trying to say that to prepare you if you go listen to that.
and I can't help it, man. I just like to kind of just let it cool and be cool, man. I also kind of, I'm just saying Bear Matana. Or Hakuna Necessities.
For the Bear Matata.
I think Hakuna Necessities comes off better, actually.
Hakuna Necessities.
But
and worth mentioning one more time, you can reach us on the Facebook page, facebook.com/TopShelfPod.
Yep.
Or if you want to tweet at me, at TC's Big Head, which it seems like I'm the only one who's getting tweets. So you guys can tweet at Jeff at Random Bell if you do want to engage in a conversation with him.
I realize that half of my Twitter tweets are generally just like my video game channel. That's the posts that are going up. I don't tweet often, though. I did. If any of you had seen my Twitter, my tweet from the 17th, which would have been Saturday, I specifically tweeted my thoughts on this movie. So you would have already known where I was going with this had you checked
spoiler.
it out. So I know, right? I don't usually do that, but that is how frustrated I was with this film. Just to show you guys. But no, feel free to tweet me too, guys. I promise. People do like me.
Well, I'm looking forward to our next episode.
Yes.
Mostly because you haven't seen Aristocats, and I am curious where it's going to land in the 10. I am, and of course, interested to continue to engage with our listeners. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, everybody, for listening again, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so with that said, I think we can wrap it up here, fella.
We can wrap it up here, and what is our sign-off, TC?
Quick, do some scatting for me.
Oh, scooby-da-bop-boop-ba-ba-doo-ba-da,
and that is the end.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you next time, guys.
That actually worked really strangely well. That was awesome.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Oh man, our Yaz lined up in my ear.
This has been a production of Ghost Hat Media, proud member of the Ghost Hat Network. Find them online at www.ghosthat.net.
I like the ending.